Get it? Because my one true love is food? I actually got lip gloss on it though, for real. What is up, guys? Cliches. If you have not watched my channel for very long, then you might not know this, but cliches, or tropes, or whatever you want to call them, are my biggest pet peeve. I hate them. I read books so that I can read about new things. Okay, not things that have been done 100 times before. So today we're going to be going through the top 10 worst tropes in romance. And I just have to say that I'm not a huge reader of romance novels, so some of this is based on romance novels. Some of these are going to be based on romantic subplots in other genres. That's just the way it's going to be because of my own personal reading preferences. So a few disclaimers before we begin. First of all, these are my opinions, as they always are, and if you disagree, then you can disagree, but don't get mad over this. Second of all, I do not inherently hate these cliches. Most of these were super cool when they first began, but over time, when they began to become overused, I started to not like them. But if a book was kind of the first one to use this trope, or if they somehow change it up and make it new, then I'm totally cool with it. That being said, we are in the romance category, and there are some of the tropes I'm going to discuss today that are toxic and I don't think should be used at all, but I'll point those out when we get to them. In that moment, Sophia wanted to kiss Jeremy, but that would be wrong because a few minutes ago she had been making out with Johnny. She just wished Johnny would die soon. Or Jeremy. Either of them, really. Anything to make her choice easier. Let's just get this one out of the way, okay? Stop it with the love triangles. It has been done before countless times, okay? That being said, I think there are still tasteful ways to show that two people are interested in the same person. But when the person at the center of it all is trying to decide between those two people for 3 books or so, I think it's fair to say that the other two people he or she likes would kind of give up and move on. Bonus points if this trope shows up in a dystopian novel. Scarlett didn't want to be sitting next to Sophia. They had nothing to talk about. Sophia was hot, of course, but the only thing they ever managed to say to one another was how the sky looked this morning. So instead, Scarlett chose to keep her mouth shut, begging for the sweet release of death. Okay, I know that love is awkward and that teens are awkward, so romance, and especially teen romance, is just gonna be awkward. But there's a big difference between awkwardness and having no chemistry whatsoever. So don't force two characters together that clearly have nothing in common just because they're the only single people in your book. Johnny opened the door to find Scarlett on her knees, her eyes watering. She looked so innocent and so pretty. She had done so many bad things, but in that moment he couldn't help but love her. I'll find a way to forgive you. You're just too pretty and too perfect. She shouldn't have killed his entire family, but he would never find a girl as hot as her again. This one is so stupid, okay? If a person is a douche, then that person is a douche. It should not matter if that person has a 6-pack. When a character is willing to forgive another character just because they're hot, it makes me want to punch them in the jaw. Sophia liked Johnny a lot. He was cute, smart, and he knew exactly how she should act. She scrolled through Netflix and decided she wanted to watch Angry Birds. All of a sudden, Johnny came bursting through the door. "No watching Angry Birds," he screamed. She nodded and closed the tab. He knew what was best for her. You do not own a girl just because you're dating, okay? Dating is a partnership. Now, I know that some girls find it attractive when a guy is bossy and knows what he wants, but when the guy is controlling your entire life, sweetie, I think it's time to say goodbye. Sophia was just jogging down the street when all of a sudden she slammed into someone and they both fell to the ground. "Ow!" she screamed. "Are you okay?" the other person asked. Sophie looked over to find the most beautiful girl she'd ever seen. "I'm doing fine," she said. The other girl smiled. "I know this is crazy, but can I have your number?" This is just so unrealistic. I mean, sure, people should find each other attractive when they first meet each other. I would hope that couples found each other attractive when they first met. But when two people make eye contact across a crowded room, and as they walk towards one another, the clouds part, the birds chirp, and the wedding bells chime, I'm not sitting there going, "Aw," I'm sitting there banging my head against a wall. So just make people fall in love naturally, okay? There is nothing wrong with that. Scarlett didn't like Jeremy. He was too pushy. "Kiss me," he said. "No," she said. "Kiss me," he said. "No," she said. "Kiss me," he said. "Okay," she said. Scarlett liked Jeremy. Now that he had proved his dedication, she finally saw how amazing he was. This one should not even be on this list. It should not be a cliche, because it is straight up abuse. If a person says no, they mean no. What a landmark idea! This one is not good for anyone to see, especially children and teens who think it's okay to pursue someone even when that person is clearly not interested. Not only that, but this trope is done to death for some reason. Which is ironic because I wish it would go and die. Scarlett's heart raced when she stared into Johnny's eyes. "I love you," she said. "You're so hot and amazing and so perfect in every way." "Why do you like me?" she asked. "It's deeper than physical attraction," he said. "You're unlike anyone I've ever met, in some deep way that I can't really put into words. I mean, you're not that hot, and you're pretty dumb, and annoy the shit out of me. And when you laugh, it sounds like an ostrich ran into traffic and caused a 5-car pileup. But I suppose I shouldn't be that attracted to you, but hey, here I am." So this one is used a lot in fanfics because people like to think that their average looks and personality can attract stars. But at this point, it's just so cliche. This one is connected with the "you're not like other girls" trope because supposedly the perfect human being can see something in the boring human being that nobody else can see. Bonus points, by the way, if the line "you're not like other girls" is actually used, because I've read that in stories before and it just makes me laugh. Sophia really liked Jeremy and wanted to get to know him, but there was always something stopping her. And that something was Scarlett. She was so hot and she always beat Sophia, both in business affairs and in the affairs of Jeremy's heart. You know that girl the other day that scraped my boyfriend's arm as she was walking onto the subway? Yeah, well, she's a bitch and she needs to die. Where did this idea come from that every other girl that even makes eye contact with the MC's guy is evil? I know that this trope makes the book easier to write because it gives the audience something to root for, as the MC is kicking the ass of the girl who's trying to take her man. But the truth is that this trope's been done 100 times before and it's just really toxic. Bonus points if this evil woman works at the same place the MC does, and extra bonus points if she's always wearing bright red lipstick. Because, you know, red stands for evil. Sophia couldn't help herself. She was falling for him. Sure, he might have been short and ugly, but Jeremy had shown her how to use a faucet, so clearly he was the one for her. Okay, yes, I stole this one from Pop Culture Detective and their amazing essay on it. If you have not seen it, go search Pop Culture Detective Born Sexy Yesterday. Watch the whole video. It's really interesting and really makes some excellent points. This one's not only a trope, but it's also really creepy because you're placing the innocence and the personality of a young child into the body of a sexy woman, which is just not right on any level. Not only that, but it shows this innocent girl falling for the first guy she meets just because he knows what basic concepts are, which is just stupid. I know that this isn't 100% a sci-fi thing because it does happen in other genres, but it mostly is, so sci-fi, get your shit together. Jeremy took Johnny to get ice cream that day. The next day, they went to the pool. The day after that, they went to buy wedding rings. Jeremy kept feeling like he was missing something, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Wait, wasn't he supposed to be delivering a top-secret code to someone in order to stop the Russians from blowing up the world? Oh well, he honestly couldn't care less anymore. I read a book on Wattpad once where this girl had elemental powers and she's basically an angel, and she went to school to learn how to control these powers, and she had people she was supposed to look after on Earth. It was pretty cool. I mean, she had a wonderful dog, she had wonderful friends, and just altogether a pretty great life. But then, oh no, here he comes. It's the love interest. So from about chapter 5 onward, the entire plot became consumed by their secret relationship. all of a sudden, all of the other plot in the book just vanished and I became completely disinterested. So unless your book is a romance book, or maybe even if it still is actually, make sure that you're interspersing the romance with plot. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I tried to make this video the best that I possibly could. If I missed any, please tell me down below, because I probably did, and I messed up the list. Oh shit. And I gotta get to my real job, so until next time, may the gods of plot be ever on your side. Did I clean my room up for this video? No, I did not. I hate my cat. Oh, wait, get out of here. Get out. I've already jumped in the door like 3 times. I really don't need to do it again. It's just really fun. Here we go. Bonus points. But when 2 people make eye contact, a croissant. As they walk towards one another, the clouds part, the birds chirp, and the wet. Jeez, I can't get this. Honestly, I'm scared of this ice cream. It's been so long since our family has had ice cream. Yep. It's like freezer burn. I don't want to eat it. This might not be the best job I've ever done, but I stand by my facial hair.